The Outstanding Alumni Award is presented to a graduate of the Belisario College of Communications who has demonstrated excellence in the field of communications, contributed significantly to their profession, and gained an exemplary reputation among colleagues and students within the community. Past winners include several very well-known names, including Sports Illustrated and Fox's Tom Verducci in 2021, Better Call Saul producer and Breaking Bad assistant director Nina Jack in 2016, Good Morning America's Laura Spencer in 2012, among others. But none of them had the impact that resulted in the receipt of 13 separate nominations like Jerry Schwartz received this year. Jerry spent his entire 45-year career as a reporter and editor for the Associated Press out of their New York headquarters. As Dean Harden mentioned earlier, he's actually the one who first coined the term ground zero during his day of reporting on 9/11. That newspaper career started here at the Daily Collegian, where Jerry served as editor-in-chief. He has called his time at the Daily Collegian, quote, the single most formative experience in my life. He continued to give back to the Daily Collegian in his professional life as well, serving on the Collegian's alumni interest group and organizing several staffer reunions. It is my honor to introduce the 2023 Outstanding Alumni Award winner, Jerry Schwartz.
Thank you, Kevin. Excuse me. Before I start, I'd like to ruminate a bit on the particular weirdness of being honored today beside Tom Berner, who was my Journ 424 professor back in the Stone Age. It will surprise no one who knows Berner that he was not a warm and cuddly instructor. I particularly recall, all those years later, his rant against reporters who got names wrong. He called them scum, among other things. I must confess, in a career of more than 45 years, I have been scum. At least once. Maybe twice. And yet, here we are. In the days when Tom still had dark hair, and I had a lot of hair, this was an extraordinarily isolated place, the place where we are right now. Obviously, there was no internet or cell phones. Newspapers from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and New York took 2 days to get here. And dorm rooms had no cable hookups or telephones. The phones were out in the hall and shared by 4 rooms. And so it was that I found myself one morning, roused from my sleep, standing outside my room in Houghton, phone in hand, listening to a diatribe by the university's vice president for student affairs. Visual. I don't remember the substance of this complaint. Something in the day's edition of the Collegian had displeased him, and he felt the need to harangue the newspaper's 20-year-old editor. I was bleary. I'd been up until around 3, first putting the newspaper to bed, and then catching up on classwork. I remember weaving in and out of consciousness as he droned on, and as a maid walked by, saw me standing in the hallway in my pajamas, and snickered. In those days, we had maids who cleaned our rooms every few weeks. It was a different time. By this time, I'd been editor of the Collegian for some months, and I'd become accustomed to serving as a walking dartboard for all of University Park. Sometimes we deserved the criticism, sadly. More often, readers just didn't see things our way. But always, what we did mattered. And that's why, when I handed the call from that university suit, my reaction was a sense of satisfaction. Clearly, what we did mattered to this guy, as it mattered to our readers, as it mattered to our community. We loved what we did, the creative challenge of putting out a daily newspaper. But what we really treasured was the conviction that all those hours spent in 126 Carnegie Building made a difference in people's lives. They were educated, energized, challenged, and sometimes infuriated by what we did. Our work mattered. I was lucky enough to spend the next 45 years working for a global news organization that had no other agenda but to inform the world. On perhaps the most notable day of my career, on September 11, 2001, you've heard a little bit about that already, and I won't bore you with the war stories today. I wrote the main story, but I was fed by hundreds of colleagues around the world who drove themselves to exhaustion to report the unimaginable and explain the inexplicable. But each of the other 16,500 days I spent at the Associated Press writing about war and disaster, politics and AIDS, and spaceflight and religion, and so many other things, was remarkable in its own way. To spend my life doing good work with colleagues I loved and admired was a dream fulfilled. In a world of misinformation and cynicism, that work matters more than ever. Without honest and intrepid reporting, without writing that is clear and captivating, without the skills taught here at the Belisario School College, we surrendered the battle of truth to the dark forces. And we've got to figure out, as Kate suggested, how we will pay for our essential work, especially local news, which faces greater peril with every passing day. I include the collegian among the endangered. If this community is to prosper, if careers such as mine are to be launched, Penn State Student Newspaper must survive, and it must flourish. If I told you that in the days when Tom Berner assigned us to cover the Bellefonte Bicentennial Commission, I envisioned standing here, receiving this award, I'd be lying. And yet, here again, here we are. I am truly grateful to receive it, alongside more deserving honorees, Tom very much included. I'd like to thank my collegian friends who connived to nominate me. I've loved them always, and I will love them forever. And I'd like to thank the people who have given my life love as well as meaning. My remarkable wife, Nina Overton, our children, Danny and Heather, Josh, Jeanette, and Benjamin, and Phoebe, who is just 22 months old and has no idea why she was dragged to Central Pennsylvania. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents, Minnie and Larry Schwartz, for so many things. Not least among them, 50 years ago, they sent me here to Pennsylvania's land-grant university, where the dream of a life rewarded with work that truly mattered was born. Thank you.